Santa Inc. is probably one of the worst shows I've ever seen, and I've witnessed some diabolical pieces in my time. Santa Inc. is an American stop-motion adult comedy brought to you by the same people that made Sausage Party. Don't know why you'd be proud of that. The series was created by Alexandra Rushfield, directed by Harry Chaskin, with a bunch of executive producers, including that of Seth Rogen, who, as you may or may not know, has been quite vocal about this show on Twitter, but more on that in a bit. Much to my dismay, this wasn't a single feature film that I initially thought it was, but rather an 8-episode series, with each episode spanning around 20 to 25 minutes. The basic plot of this show is that the current Santa is getting ready to choose his successor, and a female elf named Candy is hoping to take on the role, as she is sick of every Santa being a white male.
But the position of Santa has mostly been a white man's game.
Exactly, it's fucking crazy. Things have gotta change.
But in order to get picked as the successor, she needs to embrace the toxic masculinity culture to be seen as one of the lads.
Technically, the penis and the clitoris developed from the same organ, so I guess I am one of the boys. Or maybe you're all one of the girls. Hell!
Surprisingly, this trailer didn't go down so well on YouTube, which led to HBO Max having to close off the comments section. Always a great sign. I suppose it's lucky for HBO that YouTube have now, in their infinite wisdom, removed the dislike bar, as I imagine that it wouldn't be looking too good for them. How can I guess this? Well, because even though we can't see the number of dislikes, we can take an educated guess by comparing the ratio between the number of likes a video has received comparative to its view count. Now, although there's no definitive number, I tend to find that a typical well-received YouTube video will receive between a 5 to 10% number of likes versus the total view count. So let's take a look at the Santa Inc. trailer, where it currently has around 950,000 views and 4.5k likes, which, if we do the maths, is like a ratio of 0.47%. Oh dear. So yeah, I guess YouTube will also have to remove the like count as well. And just for the lulz, we can actually use a little browser extension to reveal the hidden dislikes anyway, and yeah, no surprises there. Not only was this slated on YouTube, but also received universal hatred across the board, with a 4% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 1.2 out of 10 star rating on IMDb, with Santa Inc. currently being the lowest rated TV show ever. Seth Rogen, in a stroke of genius, decided to take to Twitter in response to this and blame the negative reception on, and I kid you not, white supremacists. What the fuck? As if he truly believes that they created such a hilarious, witty, plot-compelling, character-driven masterpiece that the only reason anyone could possibly take issue with it would be if they were racist as fuck. Like, what happens if someone who isn't white also dislikes his show? Such as this person, for example.
That I don't care what color the feminist is, she can kiss my ass.
Are they a white supremacist too? Will Seth just be like, if you're black and you didn't like my show?
And you ain't black.
I must say, I do think it's quite rich that we're getting a lecture given to us on white male privilege from a guy who's so privileged that he doesn't even care when his car gets broken into 15 times, and that anyone who does is just simply misplacing their values. Anyway, let's take a look at the show itself. So the basic plot is that the guy who was set to be Santa's successor defects over to Amazon, meaning there's now an opportunity for someone to take his place. One of the people wanting to take the spot is our main character, Candy, a long-time elf worker at Santa Inc. who wants to take the position so that she can bring change to the place, as all previous Santas have been white males. Even though the next successor was going to be a black man, but whatever. And so Candy, with the help of her friends and family, enters the race in a bid to become the first female Santa. Now, before I get into the negatives, I do want to go over some positives I had with Santa Inc. The show was animated with stop motion, and it's actually alright. I'm a big fan of stop motion animation, and I'm always happy to see the medium utilised in a world where CG is mostly dominating. Okay, so on to the negatives. First up, the plot itself. The message of this story isn't even trying to be subtle, and is just 8 episodes droning on about identity politics. This causes the show to lose any form of entertainment factor and just feels more like a condescending political lecture than anything else. Now don't get me wrong, you can absolutely do a Christmas themed story which focuses on discrimination without it being so on the nose. I mean, that's pretty much the story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. No pun intended. Though it's not a perfect story, as the other reindeers only really accept him once his freakish anomaly proves to be useful, but you get the point. You could have a plot where Candy is still mocked for wanting to be the Santa successor, but have it more focused on the fact that she's an elf rather than a woman. That way you can still get your message of discrimination across, but without it isolating any of your audience's demographics.
Oh, I'm so happy for Timmy, the totally uninteresting white male choice that will do nothing for this company.
Even with the politics aside, however, you still have the god-awful comedy, which, like Sausage Party, seems to think that having childlike characters constantly swearing and behaving inappropriately is both revolutionary and hilarious. As I said in my Sausage Party review, this is the kind of humour that South Park was doing way back in 1998, and even they have evolved far beyond the toilet humour because they realise the novel has now well worn off.
Get intimate with that jolly bitch.
Okay, I know you're right, but do you really have to call me bitch every time you say something?
Oh, I wonder what will happen next. Do you think she will say bitch again?
Yes, bitch, because it's empowering to call you bitch.
Oh my god, not only did she call her a bitch after our character specifically asked her not to call her a bitch, but she also said it twice. And the creators clearly thought that some of the jokes were just so hilarious that they had to be included twice.
If I die, get rid of my porn! There are sex tapes too! But actually I am proud of those to screen them for the family!
But even if you put the politics and humour aside, I still wouldn't rate the show, as the characters all suck. Now, in order for the show to justify Candy's rage to become the first female Santa, it amps up the misogyny levels of other characters to the extreme, to the point that it just becomes comically bad.
A woman Santa?
What if she thinks she's handing out candy canes and they turn out to be some fucking tampons?
What if her boobies get caught in the chimney?
But the show, despite its large efforts to showcase why these behaviours are bad, falls into the trap of having its main cast of characters doing the very same acts, but now having it played up for laughs. For example, in episode 2 we have Candy being hit on by a weird creepy guy who gets overly invasive. Candy then punches him away because sexual harassment is bad. But then later in that very same episode, we have Candy's reindeer friend running up to Devin, the young intern, in which he starts to grind against him whilst making perverted remarks.
I need them cargo shorts all up on my body.
And this scene in comparison is played up for laughs, because sexual harassment is now funny. We also had the relationship between Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, which I don't know was an intentional choice or coincidence, but her design reminds me a lot of Hillary Clinton. Santa is shown to be neglectful of Hillary and is often rude and abrasive to her, because relationship abuse is bad. But then we have Candy's other friend, Cookie, who is constantly yelling and threatening her husband, but again, it's now played up for laughs.
Get the fucking baby, Craig!
Don't yell at me in front of your friends.
Then don't be a dumbass in front of my friends, dumbass.
Sure, her husband is lazy, but I don't think it justifies the abuse he gets in return. Take this line for example.
I have to babysit while you go on vacation?
And if you deny me this, the next time your body will be touched by my hands is when I shove you down the stairs to get your life insurance.
Now, can you imagine if this was a woman asking her husband not to go on holiday because she was worried she wouldn't be able to look after the baby by herself, and the husband's response was, "If you don't shut up, I will grab you and throw you down the stairs." Would that also be considered funny?
All the time you need, I'll be here babysitting with the kid. Come back when you... Bye, voyage.
In the final episode, spoilers by the way, but do you really care? Candy accidentally runs over Rudolph Jr., and though she's initially going to get help, Jr. starts yelling abuse at her, so she decides not to call for help, and instead leaves him for dead. And the show plays this up as a triumph for her. Now, I'm not saying that Jr. wasn't a complete prick in this scene, but Candy deciding to leave him and let him die because he was saying nasty things to her? That's still murder. But even Candy herself isn't safe from the show's two-way moral street, because as later in the series when she's working hard on her campaign, she begins spending less time with her friends and family, because well, she's busy. Cookie is upset that Candy couldn't make her baby shower, as she had to give an important campaign speech which could make or break her run in the race, so her friends get pissed and openly sabotage her campaign. Then Candy's family also comes in and gatecrashes her speech, nearly costing her the job. So Candy is understandably annoyed, the family then walk out on her and the show makes it look like that she's the bad guy. Despite the fact that we've learned through conversation that her family, especially her mother, have been pretty abusive shits to Candy in the past.
I belittle you, forge your checks, steal from your 401k once I sold your kidney on the open market.
And so in my opinion don't deserve any sympathy here whatsoever. There was only one character in this show that I thought was somewhat decent, and that's Santa. No, this isn't sarcasm. I thought Santa was going to be the arsehole villain of this series. Like, oh plot twist, the traditionally jolly and good-natured character is actually a throbbing bellend. Santa's character is basically someone who is trying to be progressive, but in trying so hard to do so, actually comes off as kind of offensive himself.
And everyone's like, he's black, he can't do it. And I'm like, fuck that. I know that even though he's black, he can do it.
Like, he prides himself on being the most progressive Santa because he was set to hire a black guy as his successor. And now that that guy left for Amazon, he was set on making Candy his successor, so he could brag about having the first female successor. And the show does have him tainted with flaws, such as his lack of appreciation for his wife and the frat boy attitude that he adopts. But it also shows him having guilt for these actions when he realizes that he's doing wrong. And as the series was getting close to the end, I thought it was actually going for some redemption that could have changed my opinion of the entire show. Episode 6. So we finally get to the point where Santa is about to announce his successor, and we are all left to believe that it will be Candy, as she has proven to be the most popular, with even Santa himself claiming he wants her to be the winner. But then when the time comes, he announces Devin, the young intern, as the winner instead. Naturally, Candy is quite pissed about this and believes this has just been done because Devin is another white male. But then she goes to confront Santa about the decision and we get his reasoning. Quote, "You really blew me away these last few months. You proved you have a million qualities that make you so awesome for this job. I knew you were the next successor. I had every intention of choosing you, but then I saw you with the kids at the hospital. You don't like being around children. And they feel the awkwardness, they know it, and they don't like you as a result of it. You can talk all day about making Christmas great for the children who will one day lead the world, but can you talk to them, connect with them? No, they ran away from you and straight to Devin. How could I, in good confidence, choose a Santa who is not good with kids?"
That's something I could learn.
Not true. When it comes to kids, you either have it or you don't. But you're right, you do know how to get shit done, better than anyone. And Devin isn't anywhere near ready to be Santa, and that's why you're going to guide him. Devin will be the fun and jolly face of the company, but you will be doing the real work behind the scenes, making sure Santa Inc. runs perfectly, and you'll be able to make all your great new innovations come true.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
Don't let your ego get in the way, okay? It doesn't matter who actually wears the red suit. You and Devin will both have the jobs you were meant to do, but Santa Inc. will be a better place because of you. This wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right and it was the final. Understand? Like, holy shit, that was actually a solid and logical explanation. And it also highlights to Candy at how she became so obsessed with the very identity politics that she despises, as she assumed the decision must have only been carried out on a sexist motivation, with her only seeing Devin for what he was and not who he was. It would have genuinely been a great twist and may have even offered the series some salvation.
Go fuck yourself.
But no. Episode 7. So despite hearing this explanation, Candy still tells Santa to go fuck himself. And of course, Santa does turn out to be a typical villainous arsehole after all, and is shown to be involved in some incredibly shady business, Because of course, that way we can justify Candy's shitty tantrum and then have her and our other cast of shitty characters rallying up against Santa Inc. Fuck me. The show was so close to saving itself. It had everything there and just completely threw it down the toilet. What an absolute mess of a series. Boring, unfunny, and just insultingly bad. Unsurprisingly, I do not recommend watching this show. Anything you saw in the initial trailer is exactly what you'll get spanned across the 8 episodes. I implore you not to waste your time on this, and if you are bored, go watch something worthwhile like Arcane on Netflix. Seriously, that series is fantastic. But anyway, thank you for watching guys, not just this video, but also all the views on my other videos which has helped me keep doing what I love for the past year. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you all in January. And until the next one, take care.